Johnny, whoever. It doesn't matter. They've all had that same shell shock thing happen to them. So I'm fine with Tyrod just taking the beating for now. That's
right.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, and you touched on it right there. And a lot of our local one show in particular has been absolutely crapping on Hugh Jackson for the last month or two, and it just drives me nuts because it just sounds like they have an agenda. Sure. Because they want him to give all these detailed answers in interviews. It's like, shut the hell up. He's not going to, you ass.
Right.
Oh, that's his job. No, it's not. His job is to coach football, not to give you crap to talk about on the radio. Yeah. So I'm not like crap on the coach guy. But in this instance, the coaching staff in general, how in God's name do you wait until the week of the season opener to figure out who your left tackle is? Yeah. Who came up with that gem of an idea? You have Bitonio at left tackle and Corbett at left guard, for almost the entire preseason. And then with a couple days to go before you're playing a 13-win Steeler team with Super Bowl aspirations, you're like, yeah, here's this guy that basically played, left tackle for 10 games at a high school. So we're going to start this guy instead, Like, what is that? Who in the right mind comes up with a dumbass idea like that?
Yeah, well, and Corbett not even active. That's the whole other thing.
Amazing
that was
to me.
Insane. The guy was the starter for all of preseason, and he's not active even. He's not good enough to be a backup.
He played the most snaps of any offensive lineman in preseason.
Yeah, that was just stupid. And I am of the mind there's a lot of things that I noticed with Hugh and with Todd Haley, and it's to me, and you can tell me I'm wrong, but to me they do not like each other. And they don't get along.
I think that's the case.
It was obvious watching Hard Knocks that they don't like each other. It's very obvious that he was a John Dorsey hire. And to me, it's very obvious that he's the next coach of the team. Once they dump Hugh at the midseason, he'll be the coach. That's my prediction there for you.
Right. Wouldn't surprise me.
But they've got to do it. There's just pieces of the puzzle, that being one of them. Who decided that Corbett wasn't the guy? Hugh? If Hugh decided that, then what was he doing practicing him? And if it was Haley, well, then the coaches are on a different page. And the same with Gordon yesterday. What did we hear for the last 2 weeks? We're not going to start him. We're going to work him in. And there he was on play number 1. He was lined up outside. It's like,
and dude, that's a problem because they script the first 10 to 20 plays or something. So everybody knew what the hell was coming.
Right.
So was that just Todd Haley throwing a curveball and going F you, Hugh?
It's got to be.
I can't think of. I keep trying to rack my brain for any other explanation, and I can't find it.
Well, dude, and it has to be that Haley said, Gordon, get out there, because even if they scripted the plays, they wouldn't have play number 1 together scripted. They would have had somebody else, whoever was named as who was the starter, Callaway.
Yeah,
they would have had Callaway out there. It would have been Callaway and Landry, but someone told Gordon to be there. Yeah. It's not just that they had a personnel package. Baloney. That's nonsense. It was clearly a FU move by Haley to Hugh to me. And Hugh, I don't know if you heard him after the game, but he said, well, we'll address that today, Monday.
Yeah. And I heard his press conference today. I was on lunch when it was going on, and he basically answered 1 or 2 questions about it, said the same thing. It was like a personnel thing, we're going to talk about it. And then he just completely shut everybody down after that.
Yeah.
Which, what else is he going to say? He's, what they're looking for is the answers, what the hell happened? And they want him to say, well, Haley, called a play that, or put Gordon in there when I didn't want to, or called a play that was not the first scripted play. And, but you're not going to get that answer out of him. So, but I think we can all read the tea leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not too hard to see.
No, it's not. But that's a problem. And that is a problem that leads into what, to me, watching that game is the most overall problem. And it's obviously from the coaching staff on down. And that's lack of discipline. How many penalties did we have yesterday? First of all, we had way too many. I don't even know what the final number was, but it had to be.
It was either 15. 11 or 12. What's crazy about that? Pittsburgh had even more than we did.
Yeah, well, look, I don't care what Pittsburgh does. Their plane could crash for all I care. I don't care what they do other than lose to us. And we had the chance. So 11 penalties. How many of these penalties were I'm okay with certain penalties, not the ones we were getting. Desmond Harrison, in like 3 plays, he had 3 penalties, 2 false starts, and
he had 2 false starts in the first quarter.
Yeah, but they were almost back to back.
Well, the back to back was the first one was him, and then the very next play it was Joel Bitonio.
Okay, and then he had another one. So the false starts. Did they not practice with Taylor to understand his snap count? I mean, that's ridiculous. The Myles Garrett penalty, that was a stupid. I loved for the most part what Myles did yesterday, but the roughing penalty that he had has never been good.
I don't even think that was a roughing penalty, man. That was so ticky-tack. Come on.
Dude, you can't lay on a guy. You can't put your weight down on him like that.
Yeah, but did you hear his explanation afterwards? He was like, well, he's talking about maybe I should contort myself or he didn't even know how he was going to avoid it.
He's not a dumb guy. He's been playing football long enough to know that that's a penalty every time.
Well,
it's a penalty in every time on every team.
I disagree, and I have issue with the referees yesterday anyway. So,
well, they weren't good.
Dude, some of the stuff they missed that you didn't see on the screen because the play wasn't going on around there, it was just complete and utter garbage.
Well, dude, the one that they did show on the screen that was beyond garbage was the personal foul on Gordon, where they gave him a personal foul for allegedly pushing somebody or something, and they showed it back on the replay during the game. He didn't do anything. I mean, nothing. Nope. Just walked away, and they threw a flag. And it was like, what are they watching?
Yeah, and then there was 2 obvious pass interference calls against Jarvis Landry,
right?
And the one in the end zone where Hayden basically tried to
took him by the helmet.
Gordon. Yeah. Oh my God! And can I address something real quick since we're on to that dickhead? Joe Hayden. Feel free to never come to Cleveland again, you piece of crap. He taunted the hell out of the Dawg Pound. I'm like, dude, you are lucky people can't get at you because you would be ripped to shreds right now. Like, go to hell, man. Like, what a dick. He was acting like such a punk. It's like, up yours, dude. Well, stay in Pittsburgh. You belong there.
Yeah, well, yeah. Stay in your new home, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. So, I wasn't happy with the refs, but and like you said, the discipline. I mean, the offensive line thing is definitely discipline, but it's also, I mean, what do you expect when you finally get your starting 5 together like a couple days before the season opener? They haven't gelled.
Well, and that's true. But on both sides of the ball, there were discipline things. I'll tell you one side of the third side of the ball, which made I was ready to throw my remote through my television every single play. The special teams flat out sucked yesterday.
Well, Colquitt's punting was great. I mean, he had a lot of good punts.
He
but,
also had that horrible punt.
Except for that one.
Yeah, but he also had that 15-yarder or whatever. So you can't give him a pass.
But, we had a 57-yarder in there,
okay,
too.
So what is that? That equals to 34. That still stinks. Dude, no, he doesn't get a pass when at the most crucial time, the most crucial punt of the game, he kicked that lame duck. That he doesn't get a pass. The coverages were lousy. The Steelers, for the most part, were starting 30, 35, 40-yard line most of the day. Or they were getting 15, 20-yard punt returns, which that's just poor. The play with Chubb, the ball did hit him in the helmet. The refs didn't call it, but that's just it's a discipline play. Wasn't looking, he got hit by the ball. The special teams were terrible. And
we're up in the stands going, please make a bad call, ref. Please make a bad call. You owe us a few. Like, you owe us. You better say that it's inconclusive. And I know you can see it better on television, but they do show it in the stadium. And it might have been like, because it's not like super HD like you see it at home, but you couldn't really tell that the ball had deflected. So we were like, oh, that is inconclusive, and thankfully they called it that way. But again, I think they owed us one at that point.
The only reason that he got away with it was because it didn't clunk off his head as much as it just skimmed his helmet. And when it just skimmed his helmet, it didn't change the rotation of the ball.
Exactly.
That's the only reason he got away with it, because it clearly hit him. And I mean, the ball didn't really change direction or anything, but it definitely hit him. It should have been Pittsburgh's ball, and to be honest, we should have lost the game over it.
Yeah.
But again, it just goes back to what I was saying about the discipline. The discipline is bad. They're not looking for the ball. They're not, they know what their job is on special teams. These are professionals here. So play like a professional. Chubb, I'm sure he hasn't been on special teams a whole lot, because he's been a great running back. But you know what? That's what you're out there to do now. So do it right.
Speaking of Nick Chubb and running back, like it's something else that I kind of wanted to touch on with you. Is,
sure.
First of all, they didn't use Duke Johnson at all.
Yeah.
And Nick Chubb is like the perfect complement to Carlos Hyde because they're basically the same size. So when you take out Carlos Hyde, you put Chubb in there. It's like having Carlos Hyde in there only fresh. So why did he only get 3 carries? I mean, the play calling wasn't as bad as it has been, but there was still a lot of head scratching things,
Dude,
and the running back usage was one of them for me.
Yeah, me too. Dude, saying it wasn't as bad as we're used to, that's like saying, well, which lung do you want cancer in? It's right. you really don't want either. You want it to be, cancer-free, and we were not cancer-free when it came to play calling yesterday. The offense, you bring in Todd Haley, and I know he doesn't have the same players that he had in Pittsburgh. Let's face it. Bell, Brown, Roethlisberger are probably 3 Hall of Famers, as much as we don't want to admit that.
Sure.
They probably are. And at this point, Tyrod Taylor, Josh Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Duke Johnson, Carlos Hyde are not. That being said, why weren't we running the ball? Why were we not just running the ball more? Why did we had 170 yards of rushing offense?
Yeah, it was almost 180.
But 70 whatever of it was Taylor. That's not quality. So really, you had 100 yards of running back of yards from a 3 running back set. That's not good enough. That's just not good enough. And it's why Taylor was constantly throwing the ball down the field on the sidelines, because he needed big plays, because he was at 3rd and 13, 3rd and 9. They've got to establish the run better. Dude, watching the game on TV, once they realized that Tyrod was not going to go over the middle, they just started stacking the box. They were 6, 7, 8 deep in the box with one corner on each receiver. And we didn't do anything about it. They couldn't run the ball at that point. They were done running the ball, and they just had to throw the ball, and Taylor would not take it over the middle. So they knew where he was going to throw it to.
Well, and it was, when they came out throwing the ball to start the game, I was like, okay, I thought it was kind of cool that they were being aggressive, because that was definitely not what you expected. I mean, I don't know how smart that was, given that it was raining and the ball's wet and everything. And, but, I was like, I kind of thought that too. I'm like, okay, it's cool to get aggressive here and there, but I mean, especially in this weather, I mean, you have to exert dominance and establish the run. And, that bore out to be true. I mean, they come out to start the second half, and they had, I think it was like a 10, the touchdown drive was 10 plays, and all 10 were runs.
Yeah.
And they just went like almost 80 yards just doing nothing but running the ball. It's like, all right, so let's do that.
Yeah, well, let's not do that, though. I mean, yeah, it's great that they got a touchdown of it, but that's not going to win you any games, because a team will adjust to that. And that, again, we come back to Taylor. He's not throwing the ball. And you were there. I wasn't there, but I watched it on TV. If this guy doesn't start throwing the ball hard, we're never going to win any games. Man, he was doing this in preseason. He did it with the touchdown in preseason to Njoku, and he's doing it again yesterday, that lob thing that he does. And he got one picked yesterday. He had another that I think got knocked down that he went to with Gordon. It's like, dude, throw the damn ball.
Dude, I don't remember if it was Gordon, but that with somebody I mean, it was an ill-advised throw because the safety was already making his move over, and the receiver had the cornerback beat. Like, we saw it, we're like, dude, that's a touchdown. But that's a touchdown if somebody with arm strength can rifle it in there, because it was either it was going to get to the receiver and he's gone, right, or it's going to be picked. We just got lucky that the guy didn't didn't catch it because he was there. We all saw it. So it was okay. It was like, in the split second you notice it, your brain goes, okay, who's going to